Welcome again to Joe's Stun Unboxing. Not really much to say about this one, but Diego Pacheco widely defeats Trevor McCUMBY to go to 24 wins with 18 KOs, no draws, no defeats. This was, he one of the cards, 120, 108, the other two, 119. What was it, 119, 109? Yeah, that sounds about right. You might be able to give a round or two to McCUMBY, but there was only one winner. It wasn't an exciting fight, but it was a very mature learning experience for Pacheco, who at 24, at 6'4", is a big super middleweight, will probably grow into light heavy, maybe even cruiser, I don't know, but it was a good solid performance, and it's another 12 rounds under his belt to go with the 12 he did with Stephen Nelson back in January, February, earlier in the year. This kid is being brought along correctly. He's being brought along sensibly. And a lot of people were booing in this fight, but, they can cheer later on. You're learning your trade. You're learning how to go rounds. You've done 2 12-rounders in a row. Okay, you've been dominant. The other fight was closer, I suppose, the Stephen Nelson fight. But Diego convincingly won that, and he also, just about near as damn it, whitewashed Trevor McCUMBY. Now, McCUMBY slips to 28 wins with 21 KOs. He's got 2 defeats now, and the previous defeat was to Caleb Plant. He got stopped in the 9th round. But he did have Plant on the floor, I think, in the 4th round. And McCUMBY, he suffered a cut left eye. This was from a punch in the 5th. So it was all a bit rough and tumble until the 9th, when Plant sort of caught up with him and stamped his authority on him. McCUMBY is an eccentric fighter. He's probably an eccentric guy, actually. He's 32 years of age. He's, gatekeeper fighter. Will take your rounds, will pick up some half-decent wins along the way, but when you're talking the top echelon of the 168-pounders, he's not going to tear up any trees. He's a decent fighter. Gutsy guy. There was a clash of heads in the 2nd round, I think, which left him with a relatively deep cut that sort of almost, I think it might have been diagonal between the eyebrows, and the blood ran. They couldn't really stop it. It got worse as it went on. His face became a mask of blood, but he seemed able to see. I think the blood was running down and then spreading out across the face. But, it didn't bother him. He was just like, yeah, whatever, So he's a gutsy guy, but he doesn't have the skills to take on the top 168-pounders. He has that eccentric, sort of loose, rather low guard style. He will leap in, try to ping the right hand. Orthodox fighter, by the way. He'll try and ping the right hand over the top, which he was doing, and only landed occasionally on Pacheco. You might see the odd left hook going in, maybe, but Pacheco just fought at his own pace. McCUMBY wasn't really doing anything to offset Pacheco at all. It's not like he was trying to time those single rights, but there wasn't a combination in sight, and Pacheco was able to just, do his thing with the jab, very tall for the weight. He uses his feet sensibly, nice, good feet. And yeah, like I say, at 24 years of age, him and Hamza Shiraz would be a good matchup. Now, I'm all for putting the youngsters together. I don't see a problem if one of them loses, they can come back. Do you know what I mean? It's like, Ammo Williams has scored 3 tough wins on the bounce since being knocked out by Hamza. He's still around. I don't hold with this idea that unbeaten records necessarily mean anything. It's an achievement. It can mean something. People talk about Rocky Marciano. Yeah, great achievement going. People also forget about Sven Otka, who retired undefeated. Very, very dull fighter, unbelievably dull fighter, but retired undefeated. So what do we make of it all? To me, it's not important. I'd rather see 2 kids get it on. One of them picks up a win, one of them picks up a defeat. Well, this is a draw, of course. and then you move on from there. And then, you both learn from it. You learn from your mistakes. If you look at the undercard of the Dubois versus Usyk rematch, you had a perfect example of why a defeat needn't matter. You had Solomon Dakers, who was absolutely flattened in 80 seconds by David Adelaide, came back and scored a fantastic win on points over Serenko, the previously undefeated and heavy hitting Ukrainian heavyweight prospect. So if you've got the mindset, if you've got a fighter's mindset, if you accept what happened, even if it might be embarrassing or it might be potentially a bit demoralizing, and then you just carry on, living the life, doing your training, learning, being honest about things. You can't lie to yourself. I lost. It was a bit embarrassing and I was crap and I need to work on this, that. Once you've done all that, you can improve if you live an honest, sincere life and you work hard like that. So I'm all for Shiraz and Pacheco getting it on. But Pacheco just won the rounds in this fight very, very simply. Just jabbing, started to put some combinations together as the fight wore on. Boxed quite conservatively for large chunks of the fight. Wasn't exciting, but a good learning fight, I think, for Pacheco, definitely. So let me know what you think. Did you watch this fight? It wasn't particularly exciting, was it? But let me know what you think. Comments below. Please subscribe to the channel if you are new, to help the channel out, build it up. And also the like button. Give it a click because they count them. Anyway, thanks a lot for your time and thanks a lot for your support. I always appreciate it. And I will speak to you soon. Bye for now.